Welcome to the RETSY Podcast. Today we have a really special guest, Chrissy Heller, my right-hand person for the last, 7 or 8 years. Chrissy is very insightful. She's amazing at social media. She's going to share everything. And since she's been my right-hand person on my team for so long, I'd like to say Chrissy knows where the bodies are buried, but she's not going to tell anybody. Let's get into it.
I had like an epiphany. It will be like 2 years October that I was like, I'm not going to have a job in 10 years if I don't start posting on social media, and actually talking and doing that. That's where, because I'm like, when I'm going out to a new restaurant or looking at a business, I look up their Instagram. I don't Google. And so I'm like, if people are coming to my Instagram and I don't have anything, then why? That's how I thought of it. So then on just one day, I remember the video. I was at the property on Whitten and I was like, you just got to talk to the camera and just do it.
Welcome to the RETSY Podcast. Today we're sitting down with RETSY agent Chrissy Heller. Chrissy, thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. We appreciate you making the time.
Of course.
So we always like to start this. What did you do before real estate?
This is really my only career. I went to U of A for broadcast journalism.
Okay.
And I loved it. But I just quickly realized I wasn't going to make much money at all. And I was going to move every 2 years to random cities. So I remember I would intern at 3 a.m. And one morning I was with this young girl who had just graduated college. And she was a Tucson market was great to start out. And she was driving the live truck by herself, setting up the shot while still having to look good at 4 a.m. And I was there helping her 1 day a week. And I was like, you do this by yourself? And you're making what? I was like, I don't know that this is really for me. And so I was living at home, working at Salty Senorita. And a friend's dad was like, you should get your real estate license. I looked it up. It was $500 to go to school. I'm like, okay. And then that was it.
Flash forward the real estate license.
Yeah. And so that's really been the only thing I've ever done.
Very cool. Well,
should we flash forward to how we met and?
Yeah, no, we definitely need to get into that. And so did you?
So
after
we
license,
should backtrack a second. Okay, so people who don't know Chrissy, she's been my right-hand person for 8.5 years now.
For 8. Yeah,
and that's one of the longest relationships in my life, besides my wife and one handyman that's super loyal to me.
Yeah, Joey beat you by 1 year.
Joey's got me beat.
Yeah.
Joey's her awesome husband. Joey was the boy you were moving to California for, or moving to Arizona for.
Yeah,
moving from California to Arizona.
Yeah, you really have him.
He was
the
the boy, and then now he's the husband, 2 kids later.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out well, right?
Yeah, I wanted to stay in LA, and he was like, no. So yeah. It
was kind of an interesting story. So one of my mentors in the industry, a guy, Ronnie Gilbert, shout out to Ronnie, he's incredible. He saw everything I was doing, and he's like, Chris, you need that right-hand person. He's like, you're amazing at X, Y, and Z, but you are horrible at these things. You need to find that person that will complement you. And this is exactly how he said it. I have the perfect gal for you. I was like, okay, Ronnie, I'll bite. So before this, I had gone through a few assistants that didn't really work out. You remember them?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, just the craziest stuff where I'm just like, this isn't normal. So I had to let somebody go, and that's never easy. So I was kind of hesitant to meet with anybody new. And I'm like, all right, as a favor to Ronnie, I'm just going to meet with Chrissy. So we meet at Starbucks at 56th and Indian School. And I just said, the same way I'm like, here's what I suck at. Here's what I'm good at. Here's where I need support. And if you do that, I'll be extremely loyal to you. And, we'll work together and it'll be a long relationship. Right. And I remember you were kind of quiet, but you're like, yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, that's no problem. I can do that. And just the way Chrissy is, and my clients love this too, is she's just no drama. She's just to the point, gets it done, answers her phone on the first couple rings. And if she doesn't answer her phone, she texts, because remember the first thing I told you where I'm like, if I don't hear back from you in an hour, like I'm calling the police, something happened to you. Like, it's the number one thing in real estate. They either need to know that you saw their call and you're going to call them back, or you're going to answer the phone. And I can't always do that because I'm pulled in a bunch of different directions. So that said, I think after that first interview, I mean, that was the start of a very long, good, lucrative, and relationship. And we still work together on the Morrison team.
Yeah. I mean, I think it says a lot of Ronnie Gilbert because you don't know this, I don't think, but I like had gotten a job or like got offered a job earlier that day. But I had already had plans to meet with Ronnie because I knew he would be like a good connection to like meet with and get me a job. And I was like, oh, I just don't want to go. Like, I have this. I'll be happy with this job. But I'm like, out of respect for Ronnie, like, I have to go. And then Ronnie's like, no, you need to like just meet with Chris. And so it's like, thank God I did that because it would not have worked out nearly as well. But it's just funny how like things work out.
Yeah.
So, because you go all the way back Morrison Residential days, right?
No.
Okay, so it was after.
Launch.
Okay,
Yeah.
This was at launch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had kind
very
of wrapped
beginning.
Morrison Residential into launch.
Yeah.
And, we were just hitting our stride in certain markets. And, it's just like I really needed that person to kind of balance out our team. And then that person became Chrissy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said to me too, you were like, this is like, the meeting must have gone well, but you were like, and I found the email, you were like, write me an email and tell me how little I can pay you. Tell me what your monthly costs are. Yeah. And then like, I'll cover that. And but you're
then
like,
I also said, tell me what you'd want to make if everything's successful
and you were
in
like,
a year.
we will be successful, but like, this is where things are at. And I like fully trusted it. And I like didn't need to make much money at all at that time. Cause like Joey was like, I was living at his house. Like I had no cost, but I was like, okay. And it's worked out extremely well. So thank you.
Thank you. You've earned every penny of it. So when we go back to that though, it's just like, when I hire a new team member, it's kind of like, all right, let's not go back and forth here. What do you need to live off of? Like, what's the bare minimum? What will make you happy?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's always that number, right? And this is how everybody should hire somebody. It's like, what do you need? What will make you happy? And then let's fast forward a couple of years. What do you expect to be making? Like looking into the future. And then it's like you have mental boundaries of like what to expect in that role. Mm-hmm. And I think you started just helping me and doing our transaction coordination. And you were just kind of
I was doing
we joke around, like I've said this before, I think at the podcast, where Chrissy and I play this game where I send her a screenshot and it's like, what is it and what the hell does he want me to do with it, right?
Yeah.
And you figure it out like 10 times out of 10. Like it's an amazing game.
I've learned Chris language pretty good. Yeah.
But it's just like, like I'm sitting here shooting a podcast, something needs to happen, I screenshot it, I send it, and it happens. And my clients love me for it. Like, one of my best clients, Scott, he's like, I mean, you're good, but like Chrissy's better. Like I can always I know that she's going to answer the phone. I know she's going to be available to show you a house. So, and that's how a good team should work,
for sure.
Right? But that said, it's like, what a great relationship.
It really has been. And it's crazy that it has been so long because it doesn't feel that long. And I really do I really love my job.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because, we work very well together. So
I know there's certain moments where you're a little stressed.
I mean, of course. I either love my job or I hate my job, but 98% of the time I love my job.
I know there was one where I was in Flagstaff. I know Brian was in California, and you were heading to an event, and you're like, this showing has to happen. And Chrissy's always the one that's just almost like, I'm going to get it done. I'll get it figured out. And don't worry about it. And a lot of what's crazy is I see other teams out in real estate and it's like a team member will make the team lead's problem their problem. And it's not really that. You do an amazing job at just taking the problem and running with it. So, or the appointment or this, whatever it is. So.
Well, people always be like, how often do you talk to Chris? And my thing is if I don't talk to him for a few weeks, I'm doing my job really well. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have, unless it's a quick thing, if I'm doing good, I shouldn't have to call him for anything because my job is to take as much off of his plate as possible so you can do a lot of other things.
And being a good partner too is the whole edification of each. It's like, well, Chris is really good at this. Let me chat with him and I'll get back with you. Or
for sure,
and vice versa. Like I talk highly of you. Like when I tell a client who's like coming into town and I'm out of town, like this is Chrissy. She's my right-hand person. She gets stuff done. I mean, more times than not, when you do the showing, we get an offer from that client. And it's like when that sinks into a client's mind and they understand that they're in good hands, they trust you. And every team should take notes on that. Like you need to be there to support all team members, right? We can think of names in real estate. They know who they are. They just berate their team, treat them horribly, stress their team out. They don't keep commitments. They chug through team members. They always have 15 members at a time. And it's like, that's not the way to run a successful real estate team.
Right.
A team needs to be a team, more of a family. Like, and a lot of times when I address our team in Texas, like, hey fam, or hey team, or, it's just like we all work together for one goal, right?
For sure.
We were joking around, like when we named our team, it was Morrison Team or Morrison Group. And it's like, well, a group is a bunch of professionals, but a team actually works together for one goal.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why we're the Morrison team.
I did not know that. Makes sense.
Yeah. So, all right, let's flash forward a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can. It's fair game. You can share anything. Like Chrissy knows where the bodies are buried. Okay, like she like if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, like Kelly would call Chrissy and be like, "All right, what's the login to Chase? Or what's this? What's this? What's this?" But the thing is like you've earned it. Like I trust you with everything.
I mean, that's great.
I would love to dive into like how it evolved, like what, like from like that initial like 6 months, year, flash forward to today, like the differences. And like, I think any like new agent that's on a team, like what advice would you give them for like becoming that right hand to a team lead?
I think when you're working with someone that is successful and is bringing in a lot of business, and I was young at the time, so like I didn't have a ton of friends that were buying houses and things like that. So I needed to be on a team. I have always treated Chris like he's my best client. So I do pick up his calls right away. I was always there to help with him right away as if he were a client, because I want those deals. Like I want him to trust me to give me deals. So, and there's no reason to put me on deals if he's having to work as if so that's kind of always, that would be the advice that I'd give. It's like, don't treat like your team lead. Like you can of course go to them for help and all of that, which I do on my own deals. But I think if you want deals, like it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, we have kind of a unique split structure on our team where, like, if I hand a team member a deal, I mean, I'm going to get a large chunk of that commission. So will they, because they're going to be doing a lot of the lifting, and I expect that, right? But also, like, if a team member sources their own business from like an open house or random lead that comes in through Arcadia Living or through like the website or this and that. Like they get a majority more of the commission. So you're incentivized, is that the word? Incentivized to source your own business, like to grow within our team structure, right? But on the other hand, we source enough business. Like I've been doing this for 25 years. I've networked with agents all over the nation, from coaching to you name it. Like people call me and they know that if that client's not working directly with me, whoever's working with me is going to be top-notch, well-trained. Because, I mean, gosh, for the longest time, I did Team Plus coaching with Tom for, God, so many years. And it's just like we put together these systems. But, a lot of people in the industry, they run their business on how they were treated. Right. And unfortunately in real estate, I mean, I've heard the horror stories and I've heard the great, like, positive stories of like people that evolved out of teams to start their own teams. And I've seen it across the board where, like I remember doing like Team Plus coaching where it's like I would do a call with the team lead, right? Then I'd do a call with the team. And basically I'm kind of like neutral. team lead would complain about a bunch of stuff. The team would complain about a bunch of stuff. It just seemed like nobody was rowing in the right direction. It's like one was rowing left, one was rowing right, and they're just going in circles. And the second you could find that balance of like, here's what should be expected in the role, sometimes team members had to be removed, right? Sometimes team leads needed to have like real candid conversations about how they're effing up. And like you would just see that work. So, gosh, you've been with me throughout that whole time frame too. So I mean, like even through like the Tom Ferry stuff and talking about video and just one great thing about that network, and I'll never forget, is just like anything new, we got to try it first, or we learned it first, right? Because back then I didn't want to coach anybody on it unless I knew it, loved it, and it worked for me. Because then I can speak passionately about it, but I can't just talk about something I don't know.
Right.
So, we got to implement a lot of that, but a lot of that had to do with, and Matthew knows a lot about this, is like, I have that mental brain where like, I have that type of brain where it's like, I'm really good at coming up with the plan, formulating it, and starting it, but then I get distracted, right, with other stuff, like the next thing that has to happen, right?
Yeah.
And Chrissy will run with it. Like, she'll just take it to the finish line. Matthew, you do the same thing all the time at RETSY, right? So both you guys get a lot of credit for that, but that's a weakness my brain has. But like, I know exactly what I want, how to get it implemented, and to get it started. I mean, like, think of the podcast. That was like, we tried starting it 2 years ago, and until Matt took the reins and said, okay, this is when we're going to shoot, and pins me down, and we do these podcasts. It's like, that's when it gets done. But that's what makes it a good team. So.
Oh, for sure. And it's funny, like we were talking about like the Tom Ferry days, like one of the Tom Ferryisms, if you will, and I'm sure I've probably heard you say this too, but like team leads that are listening, like I know there seems to be like this team lead hesitation to train team members on everything that they know, because they have this fear of, I'm going to train them, they're going to get good, then they're going to leave. So why bother? And like Tom Ferry's like saying for that is, so what if they don't get better and they stay? Like, how does that,
right?
Like, how
That's
does
actually,
it's, it's the other side of that coin, right? Like if you withhold and don't share everything you know to the agents on your team, then they don't get better and they stay on your team. Like, what good is that for anybody?
Yeah. And I also think like if you're on a team, it's like no matter what, you're going to see more deals than you ever could on your own because you're on a team. And you learn more by doing deals. So it's like I've seen, especially even as a TC starting out, like you see so many more deals than you would ever if you were on your own. So like maybe you're making less on the deals, but like eventually you're going to succeed way more because you've done essentially more business because you've been on a team.
100%. And that's the advice I give everybody that's ever asked me about, I've been thinking about getting my real estate license, or where should I hang my license? Yeah. It's like, you need to join a team. Like you need to join a successful team.
I think it's a great way to learn in the industry. I just feel like also within that team, a lot of people make the mental mistakes, I'm going to say, like where they feel like, I mean, you and I have these conversations, right? Where some deals, like, I do a lot more than you. Some, like small amount, right? Like, but then some deals, like, I mean, you just run with it. Maybe I interject for like a tough phone call, or maybe it's a divorce sale and the people won't talk to each other. Or like I was just recently brought into that one deal that like, there's no way in hell that would ever close without me at that table having real conversations with the husband and the wife. Yeah. Or they weren't even husband and wife, but you know. But that said, it's just like, but in learning from those details, you know, you can take what you've learned and use it in other areas, but don't ever have that mental, like, oh, I didn't really do much in this deal. I don't know if with you and I, like, our splits are our splits. Yeah. Like, if there's a variation or something happened or somebody paid for something, like, we always figure that out. But it's always like, I don't care if you don't feel like you did enough for the split. That's our agreement, right? And then vice versa too. And you've done a really good job of evolving it from what we first had to what it is now, to where it's just like you feel like it's fair, I feel like it's fair, and we both do really well based on that. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the year, like I don't ever look at, like, a lot of team leads will look at what their team members make and be like, well, is it worth it? Like, I don't look at it like that. I'm like, I think everybody on our team, everything they make, it's worth every single penny.
Yep.
And
yeah, I mean, I think you can't look at every deal when you're on a team. You have to like look at the end of the year and be like, does that amount of money equate to what I think I should have earned? And it always does. But if you look at one deal, sometimes I'm like, what? You know?
Yeah.
But then sometimes, there's really good ones. So you just can't look, I think, when you're on a team at a deal by deal basis.
Yeah. No, you can't. I mean, you average it out the year, right? And we all know in real estate, sometimes we work really hard for our commission, and sometimes it's a gimme.
Yeah. 100%.
I like the gimme deals more.
Yeah,
Same.
it doesn't.
Yep.
So, all right. When we started working together, and it's you're free to talk about anything on here. Like, if anything, will make this episode even better. But what did you see as my weaknesses? What did I need the most help with? And like, even down to like Kelly would be like, "Hey, I was talking to Chrissy today, and like, just reminder on this," or like, "You're really good at pinning me down on Fridays so we can get our seller updates out." Like, I promise every one of our sellers, you get an update every Friday. All the advertising we're doing, all the stuff. And there's certain stuff I do that nobody on our team can do in the way of placing ads and testing different platforms and where do we get this viewership. But it starts at about 8:30 in the morning. What does your day look like, right? And I know you can see my calendar. And then you're like, I see you have a tea time at 11:30. Like, do you want to do a quick seller update call before then? And then Chrissy gets the updates out to every single seller every single weekend and makes us look like rock stars. So
yeah,
let's go into that.
I just think, like, when we first started, I remember you were like, I would really like you in the office at 8:30, and then I'll get in at 9, and then we'll go over the day. And I was like, okay. And then that maybe happened like 2 days. Like, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, he just like does whatever, you know, you're going off and doing all these things. So like, but it really wasn't like, I worked for someone, great guy, difficult, like just, and so you felt like, you were like, oh, it's, 4 on a Friday. You should not be here. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, that was insane to me. And you were very much like work-life balance. And so it was actually coming from what I had come from. I was like, you went on like your first trip. You brought me back a present. You're like, thanks for taking care of everything. I was like, that was my job to do that, but thanks. Like, so it was actually lovely.
I'm a believer that you don't have to have an ass in a seat to get a job done.
Right.
Like, and I think I told you this many times. It's like, I don't care where you are as long as you answer the phone and get the stuff done. Like, it's like, as long as it doesn't hinder. I mean, I think we've had maybe 2 times where I'm like, hey, quickly, can you just like go check on this? And you're like, I can't. I'm in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's a good reason. Okay, yeah. I'll go over there.
Yeah, I think it was like a trust thing at first. You were like, is she gonna like work or whatever? But yeah, that lasted not even a week, I think.
Yeah, and then some weeks, I mean, it's super slow. Like, I mean, real estate is cyclical, right? Like, and then sometimes, like, when I'm like, my ADHD brain is in like overdrive, and there's a bunch of shit that I'm working on. It's like, it's like I lean harder at those times, and then, but I can tell you, like, taking multiple years where we'll go on vacation for like an entire month overseas, and knowing that like everything's handled here, it's so worth it. And those agents I'm talking to you that just work nonstop, like never take a day off, like feel like nobody can do what you can do. It's just because you've never trusted somebody enough to train them to do what you do. And then sometimes they'll surprise you and they do it better. Like, I remember your first video, like you were so damn nervous. And now you like crush it at video. Like, I don't even want to show up because I'm like, did Chrissy already go? Like, how good is it? Like, should I even try on this one? Like, we're not going to show my video. We're going to show the Chrissy videos. It's like, they're better. But I just feel like every team could take notes on that subject and realize like, hey, you have to share, you have to edify. Mm-hmm. And the reality is if somebody's going to leave your team, it's usually in the first 2 deals, right? Like, and we see this, we saw this at RETSY. We had to bag an agent because she made a commitment. By bag an agent, we fired her. She made a commitment to a team to be a part of the team for 12 months. The team spent time training her, getting everything set and ready. And then she does her first deal, closes it, right? Kind of a new agent. And she's like, well, this isn't that hard. I think I'm just going to start my own team.
Right.
Then I got a call from their team lead and I was like, yeah, you're not. And she's like, well, how long do I have to be on this team? I'm like, well, till tomorrow, because we're letting you go. Yeah. Like, the fact that you feel that way, like, means you can't honor your commitments and your promises, because I sat at the table when you made them. So, and we've had that happen before. it's hard to identify that personality. But I mean, we all know agents that have come over that have, had great success, and then they get overly cocky, and sometimes they need to be talked to, and basically brought down to the level of like, hey, like, remember where you were a year ago, right? And be appreciative, train and help other agents to learn too. So the ones that work out are great. The ones that don't get fired or removed, or we ask them to leave.
And it's also not even just about like money. Like, I think like it's just nice to like have people that you work with, like, to call and be like, hey, am I crazy? Or, it's just like, or have you thought of doing this? Oh, no, it's just like this could be like a lonely job, and it's definitely not.
Yeah. Well, and I think as our team grows, I mean, like, we just added Sydney, who's in the room. She's not on camera, but as an executive assistant to me to help me, A, on the RETSY side of things, but B, on our team side, right? Like, our team pays her salaries. So she's there for you. And I know you and I were talking, you're like, it's so nice to be able to call Cindy and have something done and this and that. Mm-hmm. And it's an evolution of our team, right? So what does Sydney get out of it? Brand new to real estate, right? But you're going to learn everything that I do day to day, that Chrissy does day to day, what's entailed in a team. And what did I ask? I'm like, you either come on and make your decision in 2 weeks to stay with us, and you're with us for 5 years. 5 years, we can reevaluate what you want to do in your career, but like, just give us that commitment. Did I make somebody put it in writing? Or, I mean, you remember that one guy with the like nasty non-disclosure and like, you sign on to my team and it's like basically like I own you. like we didn't do any of that stuff. It was a handshake agreement because I trust the person trusts me, and we follow through on our commitments. And, I feel like when you're willing to do that, like, people respect that and they want it more. I get probably a call once a week from somebody that wants to join our team. It's just like, the reality is I like the way our team is, so I don't want to change it.
Yeah.
And I tell them that, and I keep them in mind for other teams and all that stuff. But, and then, there's also that point in your career where you start your own team, or you take over a team, which we can go into that later. But that said, it's just like, it's this natural evolution in real estate. So,
yeah.
No, 100%. We normally ask what attracted you to RETSY, but you're kind of...
Yeah.
You didn't really have a choice.
I know. I get asked that question like randomly, like at showings. Like, agents will be like, and RETSY, like, how long have you been with them? Like, what? And it's just like I'm like, oh yeah, like, from the beginning. Like,
a lot of...
from your perspective, I'd love to hear like that transition.
I was a big, like, huge proponent of RETSY. Like, he had been talking about it, and I was always like very into the idea. So, I mean, because I just knew he could do it and it would be very successful. And I was like, yeah, what are we doing? Like,
what are you waiting for?
Yeah, and I feel like, obviously, like, I've known Chris for a while. Like, I feel like we were a little bit in a bubble of like, do we fully do luxury? Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel, and it's like, yeah, we are. But like, no one was really like looking at us that way. And I was like, we are doing it. And then like RETSY became a thing, and it was like, that was like it. And so, yeah, I was like, Lola was like the tiniest baby, and he called me and he's like, Kelly was like on speaker, and he's like, okay, we're going to do it, I think. And I was like,
you were still on maternity leave, right?
Oh, Lola was like, that's how I know how old RETSY is, because it's like as old as Lola. Yeah. So 5. Yeah. Like, and so, yeah, I was like, okay, this isn't like the best time, but I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yes, I was very in support of it.
I remember those times because it was like we were busy and there was a lot going on, and you were about to go on maternity leave, which my brain couldn't wrap my head around it until about a week before. You were like, okay, maternity leave starts on Friday and it's Monday. Yes. And like, I remember you had, I had asked you, I'm like, you can take as long as you want on maternity leave, just find me somebody that can handle what you do for me, right? Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of a funny story because now that we laugh about it, but this guy's like a friend of mine who was pretty pissed, I guess, at the time. But, you know, you'd met Sienna, right? Sienna's like one of the backbone, like, people of our company that handles everything and is on top of it and very detail-orientated, rarely ever makes a mistake, but is just incredible and a big proponent of RETSY. So we were at launch, the Morrison team. and you interviewed and you're like, hey, like I found the perfect person. I'm like, great, hire her. And you're like, well, she wants to meet you. Like she wants to sit down. And I was like, not mentally ready for you to be gone for 6 months, but I'm a big proponent in supporting you and doing that, and you need that. And I'm like, all right, I'll sit down and meet with her, right? And like I met with her like for 5 minutes. I'm like, Chrissy says you're great. Do you think you can handle X, Y, Z? And I'm like, okay, good, you're hired. Like, welcome aboard. And she's like, okay.
Funny enough, I knew her, like we were friends, but then I was listing her house and I was like outside doing the video and she's like, maybe I should get into real estate. I was like, well, this is kind of weird because I'm literally listing your house right now, but like I can get you a job. And then,
so Sienna stepped into that role and we were like together for like a month and then one day she's like, yeah, like you're friends with my ex-boss. And I'm like, oh, well, who is it? And then she told me who it was. I'm like, oh, Jesus, like I know him well. Like, so then I called him. I'm like, hey, I didn't like take her from you. Like she was hired by my right-hand person before I even knew she worked for you. He's like, whatever. Like, but we're friends now. We go fishing and all that stuff. But he was kind of pissed at me. And I'm like, I understand why. Because she's awesome. Like she got stuff done and it was like no stress with you on maternity leave and like no stress on the second maternity leave. And like, when you have a team that's put together and however you trained her, like it just worked out because now Sienna's just like,
well, she's also very smart.
She's very, very smart. Catches on to stuff quick, is a big proponent of RETSY. A lot of people don't know this, but when we started RETSY, we carved off a percentage of the company for the original Morrison team. And I remember having that call, and like everybody but one person that I think regrets it now,
for sure,
came over to RETSY. And they have ownership in the company, and I take care of my people, right? I mean, it's just like, and that ownership has obviously skyrocketed in value since we started the company, but you guys earned it. Like, I mean, the reality is like you came back and you were helping everything RETSY. Sienna was running all the transaction coordination, the helps of the setup of the company, babysitting, banking. Like, she did so much during that transition where you step back into the role after maternity leave and it was just like there's so much going on and we evolved that company and then it just continued to grow. I'm like, here are our standards for hiring. Here are our standards. Here's what we're going to do in the way of tech. Here's what we're going to implement. And this is kind of how I see it going. Now, I never expected it to grow as quick as it did. But
I gotta say, me neither. Like, this is really good. Good job.
But, what's great is now we've hit that critical mass where we can kind of pull back on who we let into the fold, like have that high standard. And, I don't think we've varied from it. And I mean, you and I have had those conversations where I'm frustrated or I vent or this and that, and you give me really good advice of how to approach, people not only within our team, but within our company. But you also keep the ears to the ground of like, hey, you need to be present to this, or you need to be present to this. Like maybe an agent or two in our company's upset about this. So secretly, we all work together to make the company better and the experience better. But yeah, that was an amazing transition. I don't know anybody that could have trained somebody, no matter how smart they are, like to take over that role. And it was kind of like you left and I was sad about it for maternity leave, but it's like you didn't really leave. Like everything just got handled perfectly. So yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So now I reach out. So Sydney's spending a lot of time with Chrissy lately, like in training and doing all that stuff. But you really do an amazing job at that. And like people trust you and know, and while still having my back throughout the whole process. So thank you.
You're welcome.
One of the other questions we like to ask, and I'd love to get your take on this, is like, what was your first like big break, big deal? Like, more or less, like, when did you fall in love with this real estate career?
I really fell in love with real estate when I worked in LA. Like, that was, like, the first thing. Like, it was a very intense, like, work environment. It was, like, if you messed up, you were getting yelled at. But it was also, like if you got a deal, like, it was just, like, intense. But I had nothing else going on at the time. I had no kids. I could work 24/7. Like, I loved it. So I was like, that's when I was like, this is, like, really fun. Like, I think it's fun. Like, it's scary and it's just like, but you're never bored.
Yeah.
So I think that's when I was like, yeah, this is like what I want to do. But I kind of thought it was like that job, but I needed to move back here because my, Joey was here. So I was like, okay. And I was like sad about it. But then I realized like, no, I just like love real estate. versus, so I actually like really like my job. Yeah.
I mean, it's an industry where, like, I mean, full-blown professionals in every industry, it's the most emotional thing they do, the most emotional sale. We deal with, like, I mean, it's a tough job, but it also gives you a lot of freedoms, right?
Yep.
If you're good at your job, you make a lot of money in it. And it's a career that's rewarding when you're good at what you do. So,
yeah.
And I mean, your career evolving from the very first day of TCing to like where you are today, 8 years later. You have a whole book of business of clients that love you, that work with you. Here, I have an AI tool.
Oh, gosh.
So, and what's weird is, like, I don't call you, like on Friday, I spend some time, like, pulling, like, I have an AI tool that analyzes all of our agents. So the agents that are struggling, I reach out to them, like, let's do some one-on-ones, let's sit down, let's do this. Or the agents that are just absolutely crushing it, or an agent that has their first huge sale.
Yeah.
Like, I'll reach out to them and just say, congrats. You know, it's like, let them know I'm paying attention, right? Like, they're a part of our company and I care about that. But also, like, they deserve the kudos, right? But you and I talk so often, I don't think I've ever done it with you. So, all right, pulling up Chrissy's numbers.
Oh, gosh.
So, last 12 months, you're at over 43 million in sales. Just to put that in perspective, some teams strive to sell 40 million. You did it by yourself, right? I mean, obviously, it's part of our team, you know, which means you're up 49% for the year over the last 12 months.
Oh, wow.
That's freaking huge, okay? Your average sale price, guess what your average sale price is? RETSY's is 1.47 something, right?
Yeah, 1.44 and some change.
What's your average sale price?
I would say right at that, like maybe, is it higher? Is it above 2? Oh, you know, there's
You had a couple big deals last year together.
So is it like 4.5?
No, it's 2.5.
Oh.
2.6
I was like, that one deal
up.
might have skewed it a lot.
We had a really big deal last year that would have skewed it. But still,
Yes.
I mean, that means your average sale price has gone up 70% in the last 12 months. We're not going to talk about your income, but this is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But also, you look at, like, our sales from Dominic & Co. I forgot about Dominic & Co. That's how you met Ronnie, right?
That's how I met Ronnie.
And then over to launch. And then it's like, once we started RETSY, it was just like, it goes like this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's impressive. So,
yeah, no, I'm excited about it.
Okay. Sitting on my calendar where I say, like, Prodigy Agent Love on Friday, like the 2 hours, that's what I do. I text our agents and I call them. I say, congrats on sales. Or, you know, I say, hey, like, what's going on? Like, I noticed you're down this year. Is there anything I can help you with? You know, we try to hold a standard at RETSY where we kind of expect people to sell 10 million a year. If they're not, we look at it as a partnership. How do we get them there, right? If they've completely checked out, maybe it's time for them to leave, because we're just not a brokerage that will hire anybody to fog a mirror to build our numbers up, right? Like, if an agent's not producing, they're using up resources. They cost the company money, so we need to fix that. So, so anyways, I just wanted to brag on you a little bit because I pulled you up in there. And you and I talk so much that I don't think I've never told you that, have I?
Well, and I also am, like, not a person to look at numbers. Like, I really am. Like, maybe it sounds bad, but I'm about the money. Like, if I'm happy with what I made at the end of the year, like, I could care less what the numbers say. It's like, I just...
And I'll tell you, I feel like that's kind of rare in this industry, because a lot of people are very concerned about the vanity metrics of how many sales volume, stuff like that. And, you know, at the end of the day, the money spends the same, right? Like, I found out that one of the deals I did, like, just before RETSY, the listing agent put himself in as the buyer's agent, and I rep the buyer.
Oh, I've had that happen before too.
I didn't realize it for like 3 years. And then I realized, I'm like, man, that dirt bag. But at the same time, the commission check spent the same.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
You commented of how great Chrissy does on video, also on social media. I would love if you could give agents like tips and just kind of like talk about your social media a little bit.
How do you keep the consistency? The topics?
I had like an epiphany. It's like it will be like 2 years October that I was like, I'm not going to have a job in 10 years if I don't start posting on social media, like, and actually like talking and doing that. That's where, because I'm like, when I'm going out to a new restaurant or looking at a business, like I look up their Instagram. I don't Google. And so I'm like, if people are coming to my Instagram and I don't have anything, then why? Like, that's how I thought of it. So then I'm just one day, I remember the video. I was at the property on Witten and I was like, you just got to talk to the camera and just do it. Like the videos with a professional, like not that they're easy, but they're kind of easy. Like that's what you're there to do. It's more like the off stuff. And I just started doing it. And I was like, I think I have to do this for a year to see if it works. And, you know, it does really, really work. Like I was like in Flagstaff last weekend and I'm pushing Gray on the swing and this lady just taps me on the shoulder and she's like, are you Chrissy Heller? And I was like, yeah. She's like, you sell Arcadia real estate? I was like, I do. She's like, I follow you on Instagram. I heard your voice. And I was like, okay. And I like was like, oh, thanks. And then I'm like, thank you. Thank you for telling me that. Like, because it's like, okay, this is working. I'm meeting a seller at a listing later today, like for a new listing. Did I get it straight from Instagram? No. Would I have gotten it if I didn't post on Instagram? Absolutely not, because she's like a friend of a friend. She messaged me to meet her through Instagram. So it's like, but I also think it's, now that I've like ripped the Band-Aid, I like have fun with it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like you just have to stop caring and just say whatever. And it's the one thing you can't pay someone to do for you.
Yeah.
You can't pay someone to be your face on and talk. So like if I'm willing,
that's changing in AI, but you know,
it's true.
just
True.
But no, I mean, like yours is authentic. Like it's funny because I'll sometimes like I'll get on Instagram and I'll be like, wait, like I just talked to her after she must have done that video, you know, or like you're talking about one of our properties or. And what's great too is like you have a follower base that's different than my follower base, that's different than Brian's follower base or Stephanie's follower base or Shauna's follower base. You know, it's like, so when we do videos on properties, it's like, I think the more authentic, hold the phone out and just be real, like it gets a lot more traction than the overly produced stuff.
Yeah.
I think if we did a study on this, we'd find that we do much better on that, but agents are so hesitant to do it. But since the start of the company, it's like, I mean, I think in the very first interview at RETSY, like we tell them, like, you say you're never going to do video. You're scared to death to do it. You're going to do video.
Yeah.
Right. And we've seen agents at our company that, like, you had to coach them through the very first video, right? And then they get a listing and a new client from it. And the next thing you know, they're doing videos on everything. Right. And I mean, you don't even have to be good. Like, I follow this agent in California. I mean, she's absolutely horrendously horrible on video. But she does it consistently. She gets all these new listings. And I'm like, I think people watch her because it's a train wreck on video. And I'm like, and her follower count's like triple mine. So what am I going to say? You know, it's like, but that said, it's like, if you're a professional, you're good at what you do and you can get video out there that's like good content, you're going to get more and more business from that. And not only that, but the search engines, I mean, every one of your videos, captioned, every single word's captured. It's indexed. So now people can find it. And I mean, I think Facebook, I mean, using it as like, especially their AI tools as a search engine, it's the closest thing you have to Google and YouTube. Yeah. Google owns YouTube, right? So then there's Facebook, you know, and Twitter and Grok, you know, it's like, but that said, it's like, it is a little bit of work to shoot a video, get it out on the major platforms. But I mean, what does it take you, 30 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what the video is. I do like some like, you know, I know who's following me. There are a lot of women in their 30s that watch Bravo. Like, and so like I put a lot, but I have so much fun. Like I'll make a real estate video and relate it back to Bravo. Like I'm like truly having fun doing that. And then like, I'm just getting so many messages like dying, you know, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, like I only need you guys. Like I don't have very many followers, but like you guys are like, if you're watching my stuff, you're going to talk to people and tell people, like, I'm not focused on my follower count as long as, like, people that I haven't, if a girl from high school messages me, I'm like, great. Yeah. Now she's paying attention to my stuff. If I wasn't posting, I wouldn't talk to her.
It's relevancy and top of mind. When you post consistently, they constantly think about you. And it's funny how if you haven't posted in like 2 weeks, they've completely forgotten who you are and that you sell real estate when their coworkers like, I'm thinking about listing my house in Arcadia. right? But if you post consistently, we talk about that, like RETSY's ad software, right? How much business do I get from that?
Yeah.
You see it. I'm like, Chrissy, I don't even remember this client. Like, I have no clue. She's like, I think we sold them. Oh, wait, you never met them. Like, you were out of town. I sold them a house 7 years ago, and they've just been seeing your ads. We do that for top of mind, right? Mm-hmm. Paid advertising, stay top of mind with our clients to let them know we're still here, relevant, selling real estate. But when you add that personal touch that isn't an ad, like that shows true relevancy. And agents need to kind of plot that out. Maybe we should have Chrissy do a little talk at the roundup. And be like, hey, here's how I plan my content calendar. And think about it. If you're spending a half an hour, like twice a week, I mean, theoretically, people go to a job 40 hours a week and work all 40 hours. As real estate agents, like, I'm sure you can find time to maybe take the earlier yoga class and shoot your video afterwards or vice versa, like, and get it out there.
Well, and the great thing about it is, like, I think if you're doing it right, you can shoot it in the car as soon as you're done working out. Like, it's like, or they like to see that you're out at Arcadia places. Like, if I go out to somewhere in Arcadia, I always try to, like, post a picture, like, I'm here. See, I'm in Arcadia. Like, I go out in Arcadia. Like, but if I go, like, out to dinner with my parents in Cave Creek, even if the restaurant's great, like, I'm not posting that.
Yeah. I just feel like you should follow Chrissy if you don't, because you do a good way of professionally posting it. My issue with a lot of this stuff that you see out there, I mean, we've turned agents away because their Instagram is they're out there in bathing suits jumping around. Like, you don't do any of that stuff. Like, it's very professional. It's personal, but it's also relating to real estate, right? Mm-hmm. And we all know the agents out there that equate themselves to, God, I mean, there was one the other day where she was like equating herself to a hooker in real estate. And it was just like,
oh no,
wow, that agent
I think
is
everyone's
on our,
seen that video.
You know the one I'm talking about. I'm like, blacklisted immediately. We don't want that in our brand in RETSY, right?
Yes, I think.
Professional. I mean, you can have hooks and it can be funny, it can be joking, and like, we've had agents do backflips off of rocks into a pool and this and that. It's professional. But like, you know, like you keep it very, very professional so that people will look at you as professionals. Like the people that are calling the agents bouncing around in a bathing suit, they're not that interested in selling a house or buying a house.
Right.
I mean, does that sound wrong if I say that?
No, I mean, no, you're probably right.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like if you keep it professional, that's where you're going to get the best clientele.
Yep.
Well, and I also think you do a good job of mixing in personal too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like a lot of agents treat Instagram as only a business tool, and it's just all business, all real estate, all the time. And there's no personal stuff whatsoever. And I know agents that keep separate accounts, like for personal and in business, but I think you do a really good job of just like mixing both.
You have good conversations. I kind of like to look at it as, you know, you have that stuff that happens throughout the day, right? And I get home and I'm excited to talk to Kelly about it. It's like, oh, this happened today or this happened today, right? Edit stuff that shouldn't be shared.
Yeah.
And share the other stuff. I mean, you have content every day in your life, right?
Well, sometimes I'll like tell Joey a story of like something that happened at work, and then I'll gauge his reaction. And if he's like really like, what? You know, I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Great. I tried it on you. I'll put that on Instagram.
Well, it's like everything that happens in a given day. It's like, what, Friday at 1 o'clock? I mean, Sydney, you were on a couple calls with me this morning where it's just like I ran into like a programming issue on Connect 2.0 and this and that. So I went to Upwork and I'm interviewing some different like specialists in this category. And it's like the first guy, like, I mean, like Vietnam, probably amazing for the position, but we're obviously going to have to communicate via text, right? And then this other guy who's in New York said he's lived there for 20 years, couldn't even put a sentence together. It sounded like he was using AI to translate to me. And he's like, is this always like that? I'm like, so I mean, I could do a whole video on like, hey, when you struggle at something, you can usually go to Upwork, find a specialist in it, but here's how you weed it out, right? And you can't just sort US, because everybody tries to get an IP address and an account in the US. They can charge you an extra $30 an hour for helping, but you know, like I could have done a whole video on like how to hire from Upwork to supplement and complement your work.
Yep.
Yeah, I may do that if I ever find time to shoot that video, right?
So do you usually shoot your stuff in the moment and then post like same day, or do you batch your content? Like, we're going to record 3 episodes of the podcast today because that's the only way I can get Chris to sit down and batch the content.
I do change my shirt though between episodes, right?
No, I am really bad at that. Like, I just post as I want to post. I just go. So like some days I'll post a ton, some days I don't. Or like some days I'll get on there and say something and I'm like, Chrissy, that was so boring. You're just like literally talking to get something up on your Instagram. Like delete that. Like just don't post today. It's fine. Like you're just not doing it today. The only time I will do it is get like posts ready is if I'm going on vacation and I know some properties are going to like go active or something. I'll like prep that, but it's rare.
Well, I think these are all like helpful tips for agents that may struggle with social media or not know where to start.
I would just say don't look at it. Just post it and don't look at it. Like you're being critical of yourself, like, and just don't look at the way you look. Just post it. Yeah. Sometimes I hate videos and someone will be like, oh my gosh, and I love your hair. And I'm like, wow, I hated my hair, but thank you so much. You know, so it's like not as bad as you think it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from video.
All right.
What else do we want to cover here? We got Chrissy in the hot seat and only a few more minutes left.
What do you want to cover?
What should people know about our relationship, our team, working together?
I mean, I think that we are very serious about our job, but not very serious. So, like, it's a very, like, I think being on our team is a very low stress in general. Like, obviously, there's stressful times, but it's, I think if you get a team right, which we have, it's not very stressful. And you can be very successful with not working like insane hours. I think you'll go through times where you do. And then there's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't work that much this week. And I'm like, that's okay. Because like in a few weeks, I'll work every single day for, 12 hours. Like it's just, it ebbs and flows. But I think we truly like, it sounds cheesy, but we very much care about our clients. And that's why I feel like our job is actually nice because we rarely get a difficult client. Like they're usually all, and I think you attract what you give off. Like everyone's really nice to work with. So you really want to help them and get them the most money. And
yeah, I think knowing what clients are going to work well with you, it's like if you try too hard for somebody that's just not a fit, like it's never going to work out. I mean, I know like Steph and I went on a couple listing appointments a couple weeks ago. It was like back to back. And I just remember like walking out of the appointments, like, I don't want this listing. And Steph's like, yeah, I don't want it either. It's like for one reason or another or this and that, but also like, there's so much business out there. If you market properly, it will come to you. Like we talk about at RETSY, we don't need a recruiter. We attract agents that see our values and want to come to us. I look at it in the same way in my business. Like, who do I want to attract as a client, right? I don't like the difficult ones, but sometimes I'll step in if it's for a friend and it's a super difficult transaction. It's just like, how do you want to spend your time in a given day? If you love the client, you respect them, they treat you right. They don't beat you up. They don't browbeat you. Like they understand the cycles of the market and you're communicating well with them. Like you feel really good about working with them. And then the ones that are just horrible, it's just like, it's easier to say no before you sign the listing agreement than after you sign. So and we've been bait and switched before, but on the other hand, like my clients that we do really well with, I mean, are long-term clients. They refer you a ton of business. They're not difficult. So.
Well, and like Scott's a great example. Like he buys expensive properties, but then he was just like helping his son out, and it was like not a high dollar amount, but I'm like, this is a big deal, like because it's like I treat Scott very VIP, like he should be, and so it's like, but I do think it's like it's not about the dollar amount. Like Mo and Sean, $200,000 houses. I will still sell their $200,000.
They're great to work with.
Because I'm like, you gave us so much business. I love them. Yeah. I love them.
Our baseball players and our money managers and managers that refer them to us, like love those clients. Yep. I mean, those have been really easy and really lucrative and great to work with. And they love us because of that. Love Chrissy more than me, but I'll go on record and say that. But I mean, all the way down. Well, it's funny you bring up Scott because the other day like yesterday, it was nice and cool for the first time ever, it seems like. And he texted me, he's like, hey, we're going to go play 9. You want to come out? And I was like, immediately, I'm like, okay, I'll be there in 10, right? I roll out there, we're like going around. He's like, so we just got done finishing Connor's house. And he's like joking with the other guys. This is the house that Chris sold, but he's never seen. And where was I? I don't even know. Like, I think I was in Hawaii or something, but.
I mean, it was
I was in Europe.
Yeah,
I was in Europe.
Yeah, you were in Europe.
And it was just like, you didn't even tell me they were in contract. It was just like, I called to check in to come up for air. And you're like, oh, by the way, like we got Connor in contract on this house and he's really happy about it. And then I started getting renderings, but it's just like, that's how a team should work, right? Yeah. I mean, like when you're out of town, you're going to be unavailable. If I'm the one to answer that phone for the client, like they're going to be taken care of. So, yeah.
Cool. Where do you see our market going in the next 5 years?
I think it's going to do really, really well. I think I'm like, if interest rates go down like even low fives, I'm like actually scared. Like I think it's going to be insane, especially like for like a lot of like my clientele specifically is like young families that are like in these smaller houses. They want to upsize. They would still be getting a mortgage. Like I think it'll be insane. I just think Arizona's still been so undervalued. And I feel like, yeah, it's hot in the summer, but like also in the luxury market, you're not here in the summer. So it's so good. Like what's not to love? It's amazing. Like, so I feel really, really good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And rates are down a little bit today, actually.
Yeah.
So.
The question she doesn't want us to ask, but you should probably ask 10 years before, 10 years after.
Oh,
well,
sure.
I don't want this question asked because I don't really, I would not go back in the future. I feel like my last...
First, let Matt ask the question.
Okay, go.
So if you have a time machine and you could either go 10 years in the future or 10 years back in time and talk to yourself for 1 minute, would you go backwards or forwards, and what would you tell yourself?
What would you ask yourself or tell yourself?
What would I ask? I mean, I hate to say this, but like, I mean, sure, I'd go back in time and like not sell a house or, whatever. But like in general, the last 10 years, like I got my kids, I got married, great career. So like, but I was asking Chris, I was like, on the podcast, I don't really get how do I know what to tell my future self? Like,
well, it's not to tell your future self. Think about it this way. Like if it was me, I know I totally pivoted, but I'd go forward 10 years. Like 10 times out of 10, I'd go forward 10 years and I wouldn't be telling myself anything. I'd be asking myself, what happened with AI? How did it change the market? How do I bulletproof my agents, my company? What do I do? What kind of changes do you look at it? Like what are the winning lottery numbers for next week? Like, all the important stuff.
I don't know. I don't know. This is hard.
Sounds like you made some really good decisions. I'd go ahead of time and talk to yourself.
Yeah, I think I would go ahead. I would just be curious to like, I think life seems sort of hard right now, like young kids, full-time career, like, and I do think it's weird. I think as like a mom in her 30s, like you hit your stride in your career right as you're having kids. And so it's like this balance of like, well, I don't want to give this up. I worked so hard on it, but I also want to hang out with my kids. But like when I sit back and look sometimes, I'm like, wow, life is like really, really good. So I just hope in the future I look back and like it really was that good and probably even better than I realize it currently is. And I still, I don't.
Well, Matt breaks it down. It's kind of like a psychological question.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of things you want to change about your life, you go back, right?
Right.
If you're pretty happy with your decisions up to this point, you go forward.
Yeah.
And figure out how to make it even better,
Yeah.
Well, and like you and I are in very similar boats with young kids, like very close in age.
Like,
so
it's that perfect age. Like, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I mean, like even like, I've been doing real estate for 25 years, right? And you remember like my own family, sorry, edit that out. My own effing family wouldn't even use me for real estate, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, I think I hit about 28 to 30, and then it was just like I was taken very seriously all of a sudden.
Yep.
And now they won't do a move in real estate without consulting me, and it's just that whole change and that evolution of your career and comes experience and all that stuff. But that said, it's like, you're in those prime years of your age where your career is taking off. You have all your friends that 5 years ago were meeting boys and getting married, like are now like making partner and getting raises and ready to move up in their careers. we all saw it. Like we joke around like where you're like, oh, you know, we have all these weddings. And I'm like, trust me, the next step is going to be, you're going to be going to all these baby showers. Or where are you going this weekend, right? Another wedding. You know, and it's just like that evolution. So now like Kelly and I are through that. Like we go to a few weddings, but in some baby showers, but it's just like, you know, it's just like the next career part of your life. It's like, it's striving and moving up and upsizing and sometimes even empty nesters. So.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I heard, I wanted to share this with you because I heard it on a podcast today talking about like kids like our age, like it's just a season. And then next thing you know, like your oldest is going to be giving themselves a shower. And it's like, wait, I have one less kid to bathe. And then like next thing you know, the next one's like taking showers on their own. And like, it's just, that really like hit home to me.
Yeah.
Like we're still in that early season with the young kids. Like you're past that. I mean, Avery's going to be driving in a year.
Next thing you know, they're like arguing with your wife, and you got to yell at them.
Are you getting
straight?
Avery a car? I should push for her on this podcast. Get it on record.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping Tesla would have their stuff straight by now, where Avery gets in the car, hits a button, and drives forward. You know, but
that would be nice.
I think it would definitely be something safe, like a Volvo with like some self-driving or self-braking, like, or like something that watches her if she's on her phone while she's driving, and like I don't know, but I mean, like we want her to have that freedom and independence, but she also has had a job since she was 10, bringing the trash cans in and out in the neighborhood. They have a lot of money in their Venmo account, so she's going to be paying a big part of that car.
Good for her.
Yeah. That's the Morrison way.
Yeah, exactly.
For us.
They just grow up so quick, and it's like...
I can't even...
Yeah. Well, I think when we started working together, you were pregnant, right?
I know. Well, I was... not even... I wasn't engaged.
Oh, you weren't engaged. That's right.
No.
Yeah.
I was...
Yeah. You know, I'm not the one for time frames, right? Like Kelly constantly like tries to like trick me into being 45 when I'm 44. She'll have me fully convinced too, and I'll be like, God, I feel like 45. I'd have remembered that birthday, but it's just not the way my mind thinks. I don't think around numbers and stuff.
Well, now I think about it, and I'm like, you're not old, obviously, but now I'm like, whoa, like I think about it in a successful way. I'm like, Chris was like really successful like 8.5 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, that's like me now, you know? So it's...
Well, I wish I had those sales 8.5 years ago, so... All right, well, we're getting over on time.
Yeah, so. Well, let's wrap up. So how does the audience connect with you after the podcast?
My Instagram is chrissy.heller. My phone number is 602-524-1030. That's it.
Cool. All right, well, thank you, Chrissy. We
Thanks
appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
That wraps up this week's episode of the RETSY Podcast. Thanks for listening. Check out the show notes to connect with Chrissy. If you enjoyed today's episode, take a moment to leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. And please subscribe so you never miss what's next. Next week, we have a special episode all about broker horror stories. Here's a sneak preview.
So you have to do a sewer scope to see this. And this is why, like on almost every one of our deals, I kind of require our clients to get a sewer scope. But anyways, they were fully convinced it was on sewer, right? They had no other reason to believe otherwise. So then they find out it is on septic, and this guy's pissed. Like he's threatening to sue everyone.